A leftist, anti-Trump activist journalist named David Levitt called the police on a Target employee for not selling him a 1-cent toothbrush. And I believe he fundamentally misunderstands what the display price is supposed to mean. But he's arguing that under Massachusetts law, if they display a price, they must sell it for this much. And this poor young Target manager, he blasts her picture out, tries to get her fired, apparently. I don't know, calls the police on her. And now conservatives are jumping to the rescue, for the most part conservative, not entirely. I mean, a lot of people think this dude's insane. And they've started a GoFundMe for this Target employee, and they've raised over $15,000. Now, I'm going to read you these guys' tweets. This may be the biggest ratio I have ever seen in terms of outrage on Twitter. It's got 22,000 replies and only 908 retweets. I don't know why anybody would directly retweet this, but I think a lot of that actually may be quote tweets. I think quote tweets are counted towards retweeting. But I also got to point out, too, this guy, David Levitt, is a notorious troll. He posts inflammatory things to get people angry. It's what he does. It's his shtick. I almost don't even believe he's anti-Trump, and maybe it's black propaganda. I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. This guy just might be like a bad guy, okay? But for those that aren't familiar with black propaganda, it's basically a form of propaganda where you pretend to be your enemy so you make them look bad. It's possible. I doubt it, though. Also, can I point out, this guy tweets all the time about Magic the Gathering. I am extremely triggered and offended by this because I love Magic the Gathering. And this guy is a bad dude, giving Magic the Gathering a bad name. So if it is black propaganda, here we have this activist, lefty, anti-Trump journalist not only making the left look bad, but he's making Magic the Gathering players look bad. Yo, what's your beef, dude? Or he's just a Magic the Gathering player, anti-Trump guy, and he's a bad guy. Check this out. He says this. This Target manager, Tory, is not honoring the price of their items per Massachusetts law. And then he posts this picture right here, and it's an Oral-B Pro 5000. I guess he really wants his vibrating toothbrush. And you can see it says display 1 cent. He then posts this picture of like this Target employee who clearly is just not having it. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, Tory, but she is just like, you know, she's like eye rolling like, oh man, so out of it. And then he posts this image from Massachusetts government website. You can also see that his battery is really low. Charge your battery, dude. And it basically the law says, technically he's correct. The law says if they price an item, they must sell it for such. It says the pricing law requires food and grocery stores to individually price mark most items the actual selling price. The law also requires food and grocery merchants to sell any item at the lowest price indicated on an item, sign, or advertisement. He's wrong. First of all, I'll come back to why he's wrong and why I think he's full of it. But check this out. He actually calls the cops. He says, I just had to call the police because Target refused to sell me the toothbrush. I did not call 911. I called the business number for the police and told them it was not an emergency and they could take their time and explain the situation. The police verified. Target displayed the price of the toothbrush for 1 cent. The store manager, Tory, refused to sell me the toothbrush for the displayed price. The police said I need to sue them and that they are making me a verified report to take to court. And then he actually includes, I think this was the Better Business Bureau. Yes, the Better Business Bureau Boston, which is not a government organization. It's like Yelp before the internet. That's my understanding. And he tags Target. He says, corporations like Target are not above the law. The police officer told me they'd testify they saw the price, that the manager wouldn't sell me the item for the price listed. I almost don't believe it. I got to say, I don't believe it. Could you imagine? Look, man, I don't know about Boston. I've called the police before for more serious matters than this. Like, I've actually gotten someone like hit me once and the cops were like, you're fine, ignore it. Like, I really doubt a cop's going to show up and be like, really? They wouldn't sell you this clearly mislabeled product? And I'll get to why he's wrong right after this. Let me read his last tweet. I do not believe this guy's telling the truth. He says, corporations like Target are not above the law. They said they testify. I have not been able to afford to go to a dentist in over 3 years. So yes, I wanted a good toothbrush and was thrilled to see such an amazing prize on an Oral-B, but Target refused to honor it, and now I have to take them to court. First shout out to Lauren Chen. She says, delete this, you absolute psychopath. I agree. The redheaded libertarian, Tori was going to lose her job if she sold it to you and lose her job if she didn't. At least you gave her a good public shaming on her way out. Everybody clap for David. I have done a couple of videos in the past few days about how they say cancel culture is not a real thing. They cherry pick these celebrities who have come out after waves of cancel culture has already been like denounced. You know, after cancel culture things have already happened, these weird moments. People like Dave Chappelle, who can't be canceled because they don't care. Ricky Gervais, Joe Rogan, and they say, see, there's no cancel culture. And they ignore store managers like Tori, who's like, dude, I'm not going to sell you a 1 cent toothbrush. Not only that, the dude's completely wrong. Check this out. Yes, it is listed at 1 cent. The display is listed as 1 cent. Okay, he could have grabbed the display item and said, I want this fake hollow plastic model. And yes, they'd give you the 1 cent model. I do not believe it's actually listing the real toothbrush. It says display. You can see it right there. There's the display. For some reason, it's listed as a penny. You can have it. So this dude's completely wrong. And I'm willing to bet he goes to this poor Target employee, Tori, and he's like, I demand it for 1 penny. And she's like, it's not a penny. Well, I got a picture, and she's probably like, yeah, that's the display, dude. And he was like, no, I refuse. He actually claims to have called the police. Man, you got to be truly nuts. So yeah, I mean, Tori can't sell it for a penny. Michael Tracy chimes in. So you decided to publicly shame a random Target worker because you're mad about a toothbrush. First of all, must stress, this dude is a troll, man. I think he's just lying. I think he's just making up an absurd story because he knew it would get videos like this and get traction. And I begrudgingly do this video, okay? I know, look, I don't want to give the guy more attention. You know, he's trying to get attention. But I'll tell you this, man, this stuff works. This guy's verified. He's got like 200,000 followers because he does things like this. He once mocked he mocked the victims of the Ariana Grande, bombing. He mocked them, okay? And he got dragged for it. And he's carried on doing these really offensive things because he gets ratioed, because everybody wants to share how vile he is. And here's the thing. I know he's trying to do it. And I know that I may be contributing to his gaining of notoriety off of his intended manipulation. But people like Tori really could lose their job off of a guy doing this. A guy who's got 200,000 followers. Now, I think Target's not going to fire her. They're going to be like, good job not selling a $100 toothbrush set for a penny, I guess. Or they might bend over to pressure, but I don't think anyone's really going to pressure Target over this. Left and right seem to be pretty much in agreement. So we have Joey Salad said, literally in my face right now while reading this tweet. And you can see like Tori's face is very much just like, I don't know, deal with this guy, right? So there's a few things I do want to highlight. First of all, check this out. Somebody pulled up an old tweet where he said, you are winning when you get the dentist office waiting room to turn off Fox News. Underneath it, I couldn't go to the dentist in 3 years. This tweet's from 2 years ago. So maybe the guy's exaggerating, whatever. But Carpe Donktum, that's the archive. So Joey Salad said he was going to offer to pay her lawyer expenses to sue the guy. I don't actually know if she can sue him. But Carpe Donktum to the rescue. Many of you may know Carpe. He is he's basically the meme smith for like Trump memes. He said, I've started to GoFundMe to send Tori on a vacation. Anyone that has to deal with this twerp definitely deserves it. I'll start with a $50 donation. He says, hey, Target, would you be able to help us get in contact with this employee? I want to respect her privacy, but we have already raised more than $200 for her, and we will need to contact her to send her on vacation. He then goes on to say that public response to the harassment of your employee has been overwhelming. We have raised $750 so far. Guess what? Nah. Let me refresh it. $15,810. $16,125. Could you imagine being this Target employee and some guy, you have no idea who this guy is, starts trying to buy a $100 toothbrush for a penny? I'm assuming it's $100. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's more. And you're just like, oh, I can't believe I got to deal with this. It takes a picture of your face, tweets it out, and then a bunch of random people are like, we just raised $16,000 for you. Now, here's the thing. This dude, David, whether he's really whatever he is, I don't know, anti-Trump, he tweets about a bunch of stuff all the time. Why does he got to tweet about Magic the Gathering, man? Come on. But he tweets all of this anti-Trump stuff, all this pro-Democrat stuff. And although I've said several times that it's probably him trolling, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to believe that he's probably just a cancel culture leftist. Look at this guy, dude. He's got 212,000 followers. My understanding is they're fairly legit followers. He's not some guy who he bought them. He gets a decent amount of retweets on a lot of his posts. He gets ratioed on a lot of his posts. He retweets Hillary Clinton. He rags on Trump, promotes Bernie Sanders and stuff like that. Retweets Mark Hamill. I think a lot of people are just going to say, clearly this dude represents what the woke left cancel culture people are really about. I don't understand why he actually has followers, but I can zoom up and actually see the followers we share. They're actually kind of, right-leaning individuals. So I don't know if this dude's, oh, never mind, Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks follows this guy. Look, man, call it a joke, call it a game, call it whatever you want. But the dude is actually playing this game. He's actually going to get people fired. And whether or not you want to call him real or not, he's the perfect example of exactly who these people are. And I throw it back to what happened with Vince Vaughn. All right. Did you guys see the thing? Vince Vaughn was shaking hands with Donald Trump. And then a bunch of tweets came out like, oh, no, oh, woe is me. And we see two things at the same time. The left simultaneously claiming there is no cancel culture. No one really cares about Vince Vaughn shaking hands with Donald Trump. Washington Post writes about it saying, this is how Fox News plays the game. Some nerdy Washington Post guy. At the same time, there were several tweets from people saying, oh no, Vince Vaughn is canceled and stuff like that. So look, for some reason, you have these people on Twitter who pretend to be outraged. They fake the whole thing. Whether this guy is literally, angry at this woman doesn't matter, because the people who are calling out Vince Vaughn clearly didn't know he's been a conservative his whole life, basically. I posted the photo. There's an article of him with Ron Paul and he praising Mitt Romney. No, anybody who's actually followed the guy and who's actually a fan of his would know he's a Hollywood conservative, which is rare, and people have written articles about it. So all of these people are going on Twitter and acting like they're outraged, just like this guy does. Okay, so I can call him a troll. Look at this one. His pinned tweet. Retweet if you belong to the 1% of Americans who has never seen an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. We got to stick together in trying these times. I know that's not political and irrelevant to the segment, but I'm saying that because he's got legitimate followers. He tweets this outrage. His follower count goes up. None of these people who engage in this cancel culture stuff actually care about any of it. I mean, a few of them probably do, but that's the main point. Yes, I think this guy's faking. I think he's lying. But then I look at the people who are ragging on Vince Vaughn or Ricky Gervais, and I think they're just saying whatever the crowd says because they want to get retweets and gain followers, and it works for the guy. He's just the most blatant example, right? So we look at his Twitter account. We can see he's got 22,000 replies on his stupid tweet targeting this poor young woman. It worked. Here I am talking about it. That's the game they play. They don't actually have an ideology. They don't actually support or oppose Trump. They're saying shocking things to get retweets. And he's actually pretty good at it. This is what's really funny to me, is that this guy it's so obvious what he's doing, but it still works. You can look at some of these other woke progressive types. Like the Vince Vaughn is the perfect example. The people who are shocked, even though Vince Vaughn's been a conservative forever, they're shocked. One woman tweeted something like, I used to have a big crush on him, now I don't. It's like, did you ever actually know anything about the guy? No. They're just saying whatever it takes to get those likes and retweets. So, I don't know. You get the point. Let's see if people can find Tori, because she's got $16,000 waiting for her. That's going to be great. She's probably making, 10 or $11 an hour. Well, she's in Boston, so she's probably getting $13 an hour over at that Target. Now she's going to basically get half a year covered. But whatever, man. If you know her, I guess, and you want to help her get that money, Carpe Donktum is organizing this. I don't know if you guys know who this this poor young woman who was blasted in the limelight really is. But I don't know, whatever, man. You get the point. I'll leave it there. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. at youtube.com/Timcast, and I will see you all there.